We have the Buffalo Bills, who are 7-5, coming off a loss to the New England Patriots on Monday night, taking on the 9-3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are going into this game as a 3-point favorite. This game is going to kick off 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time Sunday on CBS. Now, for the Buffalo Bills, you go back and you look at that Patriots game. And I know there wasn't really ideal conditions for a great performance through the air, but their defense got absolutely shredded by New England. And there was a point in this game where I believe that New England called 35 consecutive running plays. Literally, like, Mac Jones only threw the ball like 3 times in this game. Like, New England dominated Buffalo up front. And that's been my biggest pet peeve with Buffalo this year, is Buffalo a good team? Yes, they are. But they're not as physical as a team that they should be to be a Super Bowl contender. I feel like sometimes when they go against teams that have powerful running backs, such as the Tennessee Titans earlier on when they played them this season, Derrick Henry gave them a lot of problems. The Indianapolis Colts with Jonathan Taylor, you remember that? When Jonathan Taylor had a day against the Buffalo Bills, he pretty much owned the Buffalo Bills. And for the Patriots, with their two-headed monster attack at running back, you got Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson, two very powerful runners. The Buffalo Bills have struggled with teams who have been very physical up front. And when you look at Tampa Bay and you're looking at Leonard Fournette has had a fantastic year with the Buccaneers this year. And I'm wondering just how is this Buffalo Bills defense going to prepare after getting ran down to the ground against New England. On top of that, that was a physical game. Like, anytime somebody runs the football on you in that way, it's kind of humiliating. And it's also a style of play that just wears you down. So it kind of takes you a little bit longer to recover from a game like that where teams just mauling you up front and running the football on you. It takes a little bit to recover than what it normally would. And I'm looking at Tampa Bay. Currently, right now, they have the best passing attack in the NFL. They have more passing yards per game than any other team in the league. And Buffalo's defense has the best pass defense in the NFL. So I'm really intrigued in seeing who's going to go on top in this matchup. Are the Buccaneers wide receivers with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans going to get the best of this Buffalo Bills secondary? And the Buffalo Bills secondary is pretty good. We just didn't really get to see it that much last week because the New England Patriots barely put the ball on the air. So I think that this is going to be a really intriguing chess match. Now, for the Buffalo Bills offense, their offense has been really productive this year if we're going by the statistics, but Bills offensive coordinator Brian Daboll has gotten a lot of criticism and a lot of heat amongst Buffalo Bills fans this year. And you got to remember that this was the same guy who was in talks for several head coaching jobs, and Bills fans, the Bills Mafia this season, haven't really been pleased with the play calling out of Brian Daboll. On top of that, I don't understand why Buffalo fails to give Matt Breida more touches. Like, Matt Breida obviously is the best running back on the Bills roster. They've kind of been going back and forth between Zach Moss and Devil Singletary, and the running game hasn't really been there. And if you take out of Josh Allen and what he does in terms of his productivity in this run game, they really don't have much there. So I really feel like Josh Allen is carrying the load on the ground for Buffalo. And when you look at Matt Breida, he's explosive. He's very fast and shifty. And we saw him a couple of weeks ago when he was able to get a pretty significant amount of carries. He was pretty productive. So I'm trying to figure out why Matt Breida hasn't been a little bit more involved in the run game for Buffalo when you consider the fact that he may be the best back that they currently have on the roster. Now, the Buffalo Bills have the third best third down offense in the league. They convert on third downs 47.97% of the time. And I think that when you look at why Buffalo is so effective on third down, it's because of Josh Allen's mobility. There's a lot of times when I was watching Buffalo play last week against New England and I thought the play was over and Josh Allen would go ahead and pick up more yardage to keep the drive alive. So for Tampa Bay, how are they going to try to limit the impact that Josh Allen has in this game when it comes to his ability to extend plays and create extra yards when it looks like a play isn't there? I think that's really important because you look at the efficiency of the Bills offense on third down, that's largely due in part because of Josh Allen's mobility in those situations. And I really think it's hard to stop guys like Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, and Josh Allen because you got to account for the ability to throw the football, but also what they do on the ground and in third down situations. That's where these dual threat quarterbacks truly become really hard to stop. So for Tampa Bay, getting off the field in those third down situations is going to be tough, considering the fact that you have to look out for Josh Allen's ability to pass and run. Now, I expect this game to be pretty high scoring. I think this game probably could be in the high 20s, probably the early 30s. You look at the Buccaneers, if they win this game, they clinch the NFC South division. And for a while, it looked like the Saints and the Buccaneers were going to be the two teams competing for this division. But the Saints over the last month or so have kind of died down. The injuries are now starting to take a toll on the Saints, and they've kind of fizzled out of the race. So if Tampa Bay wins this game here, they pretty much lock up the division and they clinch a spot in the playoffs. Meanwhile, for the Buffalo Bills, if you lose this game, you potentially could be on the outside looking in of the playoff race next week going into week 17 or week 15, excuse me. So this is a really big game for Buffalo because if you lose this and you drop to 7-6 on the year, you're probably going to be behind the rest of the pack in terms of trying to not only get into the playoffs and clinch one of those final wild card spots, but also in terms of winning the division because New England is up on you in 2 games. So you got to make sure that you're no much than a game or 2 behind New England and still have a shot at winning this division, because if you drop this game and New England wins this week, they're going to be 3 games ahead of you, and the division probably could be wrapped up by next week going into week 15. So for Buffalo, not only are they fighting for their playoff lives, but they're also trying to keep within reasonable pace of New England so they can still have a shot at winning this division. So this game is going to be really critical for Tampa Bay. They're still trying to get the number 1 overall seed in the NFC, get that first round bye, trying to keep up with Arizona. And the Bills are not only fighting for the division, but they're also fighting for a spot in the playoffs. So the team I'm going to take to win this game, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills with the upset. I was leaning Tampa, but I think that Buffalo is going to be able to pull off the upset because as long as they're able to give Josh Allen time to throw, I think they should be able to outscore Tampa, even though Tampa's offense has kind of been very hot as of late. I think that the Buffalo Bills are going to be able to come out here, get that passing game going, and they don't really need to have that much success running the football. Tampa Bay, as a matter of fact, has one of the best run defenses in the league, but I just can't see Buffalo dropping another game in a row. Buffalo also has been really good against NFC opponents, and so has the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As a matter of fact, if the Bills were to beat Tampa Bay, I believe that this would be the Buccaneers' first loss to an AFC opponent, but I'm going to have to go with the Bills. I think the Bills are going to be able to pull this upset off. I think they're going to be able to keep up in the playoff race after if they are able to win this game. Give me the Bills. 31-27 is my final score prediction. I'm taking the Buffalo Bills to win.